Welcome to Heroes Rising, hosted by Sifu Raphael, a master instructor, public speaker, and the founder of Speaking Prowess. Known for his expertise in empowering individuals through the art of communication and leadership. Alongside him is co-host Jose Escobar, an acclaimed personal development speaker, 18-time published author, and founder of 2 thriving businesses, including the Connected Leaders Academy. Together, they bring you dynamic conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, industry icons, and visionaries. Heroes Rising is your go-to source for wisdom, motivation, and unstoppable growth. Join us and discover the hero within you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from around the world. We are live here with the Heroes Rising show. Today, my co-host Sifu Raphael Gomez is not with us, but we have another special guest, and that is Coach T.O. Clay, who's going to be co-hosting today with me. And of course, we have a very special guest with David McKee. So I'm excited, really excited for today. T.O. popped off, but I'm sure he'll pop back in. So David, say hello.
Hey, how's everything going? It's great to be here, and I'm psyched to be a part of this. I'm really excited to get it going.
Let's do this. So today's topic of what we're discussing, and I always love discussions because we're not debating. We're not, trying to do a master class of any kind. This is just a more free-flowing, let's talk about it. And it is the mindset shift that changes everything, right? So I truly believe that the difference maker in failure and success goes down to mindset. I think if we think the right thoughts become the right words, and the right words become the right actions, and the right actions over time become the right habits, and the right habits can quite literally create the life that you choose. Now, habits, positive or negative, will either take you up or they'll take you down. But habits are strongholds in how we show up in the world, how we show up in life, how we show up in business. And I always say, and I know I can tell you guys this, but if you're watching this and you're not here on this platform virtually, can I tell you something? Every single area of your life is interconnected to the next one and the next one and the next one. How I treat my wife is going to affect how I engage with my children. How I engage with my children is going to affect how I show up for my clients in business. How I show up for my clients in business is going to affect my bottom line financially. My bottom line financially can easily affect my health. My health and wellness can affect my spiritual life. I mean, you name it, it's all interconnected. And too many of us out there try to compartmentalize and say, I'm just going to focus on this and this and this. Life is bigger than that, but it all starts with the mindset.
Absolutely. And if you guys don't mind me jumping in, it's mindset for me. I just wrote a book about mindset, and it's this perfect that I'm on for this today. It's something that we don't overly realize how powerful our mind is. We have these thoughts, and we have an inner dialogue that kind of is going on and carrying us through our day to day. And we have the power to control whether those are good, progressive, solid thoughts that are going to give you momentum, or thoughts that are going to keep you stuck, and thoughts that are going to keep you scared and in that same mentality of life that you're doing. There was a recent study that came out. It was Andrew Bustamante, who was a CIA representative and now does the podcast world, kind of talking just in facts of what we do with. And he was saying about the average human thinks about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And they did on average of what is actually stuff that you're conscious and you're being aware of, and what are just the micro thoughts of, oh, I need to shower, I need to do this, that we kind of do automatically, and we get stuck into the same routine and the rhythm of all that time. And he factored that about 80 to 85% of those 70 to 80,000 thoughts are all subconscious, that we have no idea what we're doing. We're just kind of going through the motions and following it through. So for me, it became a game of how much can we make notice of when we do something subconscious. So if we have a reaction that we don't like, how fast can we diagnose that and say, I don't like that, I want to fix that? And it's how can we become conscious of those things that we don't like about ourselves or we don't like thinking, and switch it and find a way that we can really focus on the positive and focus how can we get the best result out of this.
I just wrote this down here in my notes as we're talking, that you wrote a book on mindset. I definitely want a copy. I'm a huge reader, as you can tell. This is a real
My
background.
man.
So I would love to revisit that with you offline. But Coach T.O., what are your thoughts on so far?
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me? Because
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
You're
Okay,
good.
good, gentlemen. Awesome. Um, Mindset shift. It's I agree with you, David. A lot of times, if you ever catch yourself drifting, mentally, it's like, man, it's Monday morning, top of the week. What do I need to do? Oh man, I got to take the dog out. Oh, the phone's ringing. Oh, I need to get a cup of coffee. All these different things, and it's just get real murky, real muddy. And the only way you can kind of, you know, bring that to a halt is quietness, in my opinion. Just sit back, stop for a second. it, Jose just did it. Perfect example. Write it down, man. We hear it all the time, but a lot of people really don't understand the power of really writing your thoughts down and taking these thoughts and really looking at them and moving some to the left, shifting some to the right, because the brain again is constantly moving. If you sleep with the TV on, I ask you to stop sleeping with the TV on for 3 days and watch how things will start to quell. But again, great topic, man. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you, David, for what you just shared. And
You got
it's
it.
the mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
would say,
if
go ahead, David.
Hey, so yeah, literally, I was just wanted to jump onto that because you're spot on with the TV. And it's something that I love to share. It's a neuroscience hack that really has been helpful for me. And I think it's helpful to anybody who actually realizes it, is anyone who wants a cheat code of how our brain works and to get a faster result out of something. The last 10 minutes before you go to sleep. So when you start feeling sleepy and you're starting to make that cognizant thing of, I got to go to bed, and like you start having that feeling, your brain is in a partial theta state. And I call it last 10, first 10. The last 10 minutes before you go to sleep, first 10 when you wake up. So make that literally your sanctuary of nothing goes in, not going on your phone during that time. Focus on what is going on in your life and what you want to accomplish. When your brain is in a partial theta state, it only replicates it when we're actually sleeping. And they say it literally, it's like a door to your subconscious. It's why when we heard it, probably growing up, I'm sure you guys heard the same thing of when you wake up, go to the bathroom and say your affirmations, because that's when it's most powerful. It's in that first 10 minutes. So you literally can bypass some of that subconscious circuitry that we will overthink and do on the subconscious level. And when you're doing in that last 10, first 10, and really drilling, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? And for me, I got really crystal clear on where I wanted to be in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. End of every night when I'm in that space, I'm like, what did I do today? Did I get further or farther away from that? Is 5 years from me proud of that, what I did today? And if not, how do I get back to that so I can be proud of myself tomorrow?
Right.
Man, that is so good. That
Hey,
I
yeah, it is.
do a morning routine and evening routine affirmations. I've been doing that for, I don't know, 5-6 years. But I've never done it in the first 10 and last 10. So that's a unique, interesting piece you put in there for me. I'd like to read on that more. But yeah, I always do
Sure.
affirmations because I believe we have to brainwash ourselves to to show up the way we need to show up. We have to say the right things, and sometimes the automatic negative thoughts in our mind and the recurring tapes and prior history of all the things we're around all the time consumes us. And it's the same thoughts from yesterday and the day before, which is mostly negative and mostly not in your favor. So I try to drown myself intentionally in the morning and the evening. I just haven't done it in the first 10 and last 10, which is pretty cool. So I can say what T.O. was saying earlier. Coach T.O. mentioned about writing things down, right? And I'm a huge writer downer kind of guy. Now I'm guilty, just like everybody, of sometimes not having a pen and pad and not writing things down, but that's what the trusty cell phone is for your notes in the section, right? So I do that too. And sometimes people think I'm texting when I'm actually writing it in my notes. So I say that to say that, and I'm writing thoughts down that come to my mind so that I don't forget when I chime in. I just wrote something down when T.O. said about note taking, and I wrote down reflection turns experience into insight.
That's good.
So
I like that.
when we reflect on the words that we heard on a podcast or what we saw on some kind of a show that impacted us or whatever, or you're talking to a mentor on a phone call or a Zoom call, or I'm with a prospect or a client or a coaching client, whoever, and they say something that's impactful, or I'm on this live right now with you guys and I wrote down a couple things here already, and I'm sure my page will be full by the time I'm done. What's going to happen is I'm going to take that and I'm going to reflect upon it. And that experience is going to end up becoming the insight that I can now bring into my life to bring about new things. But just because you write something down doesn't mean anything changes. It's when you reflect on it and you engage with it that it actually can move the needle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I mean, and to get into when I mentioned my book before and TO, I mean, I feel like you guys teed me up perfectly. It's truly, you guys didn't know about the book coming in. My book's called Navigate the Noise. And it's going through that whole process of how can we reduce cortisol? We live in a society that's just become so stressed out and so inundated with no matter what side you're on, if you're listening to news, it's high stress, the way that it's presented and the way it's out there in the world. So many crazy things are happening. People are on edge as is. I wanted to kind of give a tutorial, especially post-COVID, of how can we fix the issue with our attention spans. We're going on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and everything is condensed into these 15, 20 seconds. And I see people on their phones, and if it doesn't catch their attention in 2 to 3 seconds, they're gone. And it's, okay, how can we unwind some of that? How can we go through and fix everything? I'm still the person. I still do social media. I know people will say that they go cold turkey and they don't touch any of it. I still do, but I limit the time that I'm on this stuff. It's I try to value when I meditate and when I focus on going through what you're talking about, of like, how can we ruminate in the positive and look through how can we fix things and make the best versions of what we're doing. We're all handed something in life, and we can make the best out of what's handed to us. But if we're not actively looking for those situations and activating our reticular activating system, our RAS in our brain, we're usually hardwired to look for the negative. So when you start hardwiring and looking stuff for the positive, it's the whole red car test of, if you've ever been on a car lot and you really haven't seen that brand and model of car before, but you take it for a test drive and then you end up buying it. And then you look at the highway and you see them all over the place. It's your brain is now looking for it. So what I love to teach is so much of society has become negative and everything is leaning towards the negative. If you're not perfect, you're not great. And it's all these things kind of like layering in there. No, how can we find those little bits of positive and focus on that? When you're in high stress, your vision is very narrow. It's I like to use the example of when we were growing up in school. And if you're reading in English or history class and you're reading from the book and everyone's taking turns, and then you lose sight of it for 30 seconds because you start daydreaming, and then the teacher calls on you. You get so stressed and you can only see really small fragments that you lose your place. It's hard to kind of reset and recalibrate. And that's where we are when we're high stress. But if we can get into a cool, calm, collected state, you see the entire room. So I'm very of the mindset of all the opportunities that have started coming to me later in life. I've had such success over the last 5 to 10 years. Those opportunities were always there, but I was in such a high stress and in such a limited, narrow scope of focus, I couldn't see it. Now I'm at the point where I've been able to relax enough that I can see the opportunities. So it's little things like that. How can we fix and find things to make our life a little bit better every day? It's not going to change overnight, but if you can really focus on those positive things and really good things for your brain, for your body, that's how you can make tangible differences day by day.
That's good, man. Really good. I tell you, when I met Jose Escobar here in Atlanta, Georgia, I remember Jose saying, "Hey, how are you doing? What's your name?" I said, "I'm doing great. My name is Coach T.O. Clay, and I'm a struggling leadership coach." Do you remember that, Jose?
I remember like it was yesterday. Yes.
Yes. I said, I'm telling you, David, I said, I'm a struggling leadership coach. He said, "No, you're not, because you are what you say. You are an outstanding leadership coach. You are inspiring leadership coach." And the mindset shift in that moment, up until this moment right now as we speak, it's something that has re-engineered, recalibrated my mindset when I'm sitting across from different clients on a stage speaking wherever. Always think back to what Jose said. And it's something that I knew, but the space in which we were in, everybody was whispering, that's Jose Escobar. That's Jose Escobar. He's Connected Leaders Academy. So it was like that first introduction with him and I speaking, it was like, man, that simple mindset shift And you was talking about, David, about the neurological, right? Shizard Shamin. I'm sure you've heard that name.
Oh yeah.
Something as simple as just stopping, filling the small blueprint grid on my index and my thumbs and rubbing the fingers together, man. The brain stem starts to shift because it's
Yep.
either sage or saboteur. And the saboteur thinking a lot of times is because of what we're consuming, gentlemen. We're constantly consuming a lot of things that are bad food for us per se. In the
Yep.
mind, bad food. So Jose, I thank you for that, brother. I said today, 6 March 2026. You said it to me. It stuck, and being able to see that fruition over time in a space in which I was new to navigating, it's a true mindset shift. I appreciate you for that.
Listen, Coach T.O., man, you were a superstar then. Like, I felt your presence. You had a great energy, right? And I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people where I talk to somebody, and in my mind, before I actually talk to them, before they open their mouths, I'm like, this person's a rock star. I can just feel it. I can see it, right? And then you start talking to this person, and you're like, oh my gosh, what they're saying is not matching what I thought, right? And it's crazy because sometimes we are our own worst enemy, right? And we cut our own legs from under us. And you are, man, you are who you are now. Yes, you've progressed because we all progress, right? We make an effort to change, but you were a rock star back then, right? And now you're just doing more of what you're doing. But speaking of consumer, because you said consumer, and, and that was actually a point I was going to make. That I work with entrepreneurs in the Connected Leaders Academy, right? So for those of you who are watching don't know, I have a global network of entrepreneurs, and that's pretty much I don't collect stamps. I don't collect coins. I collect interesting people, right?
I like that.
So what I do is I just bring amazing people together, and everybody wins. So the mindset shift, since we're talking about that, right? Because one, we have to change from the consumer mindset to the creator mindset.
Yes.
Right. Yes. From the consumer to the creator, because everyone is consuming things in life every single day. Right. And I remember when I was in Amway back in the day, I was 18 years old. I'm 43 now, but I was 18 years old and I was in Amway, network marketing. And they said, Jose, stop being a consumer. You need to be a prosumer. Right? Every time you buy something, you get paid to buy it. That's called a prosumer versus a consumer, right? And the producer just makes it, right? So a prosumer is a combination of both. So in life, so many people are consuming, but entrepreneurs create life, right? Most people consume life. We create life, right? And not the literal context of life, but the opportunities, the things that are out there. So stop asking yourself, what can I get? Start asking, what can I build? Right? What can I build? The biggest shift is actually realizing that you are responsible for your outcome. Right? You are responsible for your outcome. If you want to make 6 figures, well, guess what? Go out there and create it. If you want to attract the right spouse, and you're single right now and you want to attract the right spouse, you need to be somebody who's marryable. If that's even
right.
Be the man that a woman would desire, right? Too many of us are looking for what we want, but we're not that ourselves, right? Yeah. So it just comes down to a simple fact of stop consuming all the time and start creating. It makes all the difference. And that little shift is a mindset piece that can quite literally change everything. And welcome, Sifu Raphael. Round of applause for Sifu. Good to see you.
I was listening on the car, and I'm like, man, this is a great conversation. I somehow have to get home quick and do it. I just came back from seeing my shoulder doctor, and he said, you're good to go. I'm like, you mean I can start doing push-ups? He said, you're cleared. I'm like, woo-hoo. And everybody, I said, wait a minute. My fiance was with me. The VA was in there. I said, everybody heard that, right? Everybody heard that I can start doing push-ups. They all said yes. I said, okay, it's a given. And it's great to see you guys here, David. I didn't mean to bump you off, but there he is. Except I've been listening to this incredible conversation about taking notes and so forth. I think all of us are note takers. And one of the things that I want you to do is, because I want people to connect with each one of you, is in the chat, in the private chat, put your link wherever it is that you want us to put your engagement with, so people can connect with you. So Tio, go ahead and put yours in there. And David, please put yours in there too.
David already has his set up.
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect.
So what else, gentlemen? Regale me. I'm excited. We're having a great conversation here.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I was walking up more of we're talking mindset and we're getting into it. And something I had a conversation with someone recently, and it's in the ballpark of when you talk about manifestation. That's become a big word in a lot of the podcast world, and it used to be almost like a woo-woo word, but people have really jumped into what manifestation is. And when you talk about getting to the mindset of where you want to go, I'm big on Neville Goddard's school I learned so much from Neville Goddard, and Jose, what you're talking about of living from the end, of like, that's what Neville Goddard was all about. Of if you wanted to be something and you wanted to manifest something, who do you see that version of yourself being like? How do they walk? How do they act? How do they talk? How are they doing everything in life like that? So when you can really tap into that, that's been where I love to talk about manifestation. That to me, it's so many people I'll ask them, what do you want to manifest? And they'll tell me all about it, the riches, the jobs, the wife, the like everything that they want in that ballpark. And I'll ask them, okay, what have you done today to get to that point of like, how are you getting closer to that dream? Well, I prayed and I did this for like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, what are you doing the rest of your day? That like, what are you actively getting to that point? So for me, it's become something of like a game of how much can I be like that person every day? And it's like, yeah, I know it's not going to be 24 hours, but how can we get little bits of when you have a problem pop up, start thinking, how would future me act? And I was like, people may think I'm crazy the way I talk like this, but this is how I've gotten into it of like, that's how I make better decisions. I know how the reactionary me would have acted 5 years ago, and I don't like that reaction. How can I be better? How can I get better? How can I mend fences quicker and be able to speak my mind, but I also not get to someone where it's offensive or getting someone to that level? It's how can we be that best version? So yeah, it's something that's been on my mind lately. I figured I'd jump it in since it's in the conversation.
That's awesome. I got to tell you, you guys were talking earlier about your first 10 and your last 10, right? I don't know if you know, but Jose wrote a book on winning the day, the morning and evening routine. And one of our other brothers, Lancelot, drove a book about dreams, right? He's never had an axe that can chop down a dream. And of course, we know that Tio has written this book. And obviously, like Jose, I'm an avid reader, so I can't wait to read your book, David. And when you think about the mind shift that really motivates or even changes anything in our lives, it does have to start with what Coach Theo Clay said earlier. While I'm driving, I'm like, yeah. And he talked about that alone time, right? You need that time with yourself, because no matter where you are, there you are. When I was on my airplane coming back from Tampa, on my way to Tampa, when I was just driving, I was there with me. So wherever I go, whether it's dark, raining, snowing, sleeting, it's a terrible time, I'm struggling, I'm with me. So when we can learn to be with ourselves, we can learn so much about ourselves, then we can help others. But if we don't take the time to acknowledge who we are, even in the most troubling times. Listen, when I was going through a divorce, I was still with me. That was still with me. When my son was being born, right? I was there. I was there helping, delivering me. The doctor said, can you push on her belly to help him come out? Because he doesn't want to come out. I said, absolutely. Did she like me for that? Probably not, because I was pushing on her belly. But here's the thing, I was there. And I was acknowledging every moment. So every moment that you are with you, And you should be not in your head. You should be in your experience. I think that's going to be an incredible, incredible moment for you. And we need to cherish those, and we need to journal. And that's where the writing down comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I found for me personally. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I mean, I went through, I call it some of the darkest times I think anyone could go through. I lost people who were the closest to me. And as a result of all that, I got diagnosed in the last 5 years with ADHD, which all my friends end up saying, like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense, Dave. It's just like it hit out of nowhere. But what I realized I was doing, and I was living life all the wrong way, was I was so affected by what happened to me in the past that I was projecting that into the future and calculating how everything could go wrong. And by doing all that, I was always in this never happy in the present. I was always like stuck in thinking of what happened in the past and what could happen in the future. And I was missing out on so much of life. And it took me that I worked on a music album that I was a writer on. And we knew that the album was coming out in October and the track list comes out in February. And so I find out some of my songs are on there. I'm pumped. I'm so excited. And what ended up scaring me is the album comes out and it's fantastic. But I almost wished away that time. Can't tell you anything that happened between that February when that track listing came out to when the album came out. And it was really cool for 2 weeks. But then I realized, man, I wished away, or I didn't even think or cognizantly be present in 8 months for a good 2 weeks. And it's it just to kind of hit that corporate ladder of like, I know people are always striving and thinking that promotion will make them who they are. If you're not working on yourself, like you're talking about, Raphael, spot on. Like if you're not working on yourself and present in the moment, you're never going to enjoy any of that stuff. You could have the best stuff happen to you. And that's why we see that some of these billionaires can be miserable. They don't have genuine happiness in their life. So it was finding that and going through that I had to sit with myself, and it was uncomfortable at first. I didn't like it. I learned how to meditate, and the first time I tried, I went 30 seconds and reached out to my mentor afterwards. I'm like, hey, it's not for me. I can't do it. And he just told me, he's like, hey, do you go to the gym? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you squat 700 pounds? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, how many times have you gone to the gym? And he walked through that. He's like, you're not that good at meditating yet. He's like, don't think you're the greatest at it. He's like, there are monks out there who've been doing this for decades and they haven't figured it out yet. So it was that humbling of like going through of, no, this is a muscle I have to train. And I had to be active to do that. And now I cherish this time by myself, where I used to hate that time. I would used to find any excuse not to kind of be zoned in and centered in the present because I was in that past future kind of conundrum. And so, yeah, it's just been mind blowing of how much better that's made life. Raphael, you're spot on with that.
Yeah, that's powerful, bro. Where you from, David?
New York.
What part of New York you from, brother?
Born in Syracuse, now living in Long Island.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good.
I'm in Long Island too, so we're gonna have to get some bread, man. But not that
Amen.
But, we got to get together.
Yeah, we'll make it happen soon for sure.
What part of Long Island?
Rockville Center.
Man, I am in Farmingdale. Like we could, and we got to connect with Lancelot. He also lives near, so the three of us got to get together. For sure.
Let's make it happen. Coach T, are you in Brooklyn? I see the shirt.
I'm in Atlanta, but
He's in
I love Brooklyn. I'm in a Brooklyn state of mind right now.
I love it.
By the way, he's going to be in New York, and we need you there too. Come May 15th through 17th, we're doing an event together. Jose's going to come also. We'd love to have you with us, David.
I'm there. I'd love to be there.
Yes, awesome. It'd be awesome.
We'll chat later. I'll give you a call.
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Wow. This is amazing, bro. Like
I'm watching Jose. He's absorbing all this stuff. Look at him. I can see it.
I have my notes in front of me.
That brain is going.
The shift, though, man. When we think about the shift of it, because we beat up the mindset. We think about the shift of it, though. That shift has to take place. And when I think about earlier, we were discussing earlier, Jose, David, about a good friend of mine, Brother Myron Edmonds. He says, get your shift together. He's a pastor. So him saying it, you see him on social media, he's like, hey, you brothers out there need to get your shift together. It can kind of catch you like, what did he say? The pastor's on here cussing, but Shift is your spiritual aspect. Obviously, the H is your health, mental health. We're talking about it now, mindset. Um, I I can't even remember what it is. It's
Integrity.
something. It's probably it's close to that. Let's say it's somewhere close in that ballpark. Obviously, F is finances, and then the T was I can't I can't remember. I'm cloudy with my own light aspect of it, but it's all in cahoots, is what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
that shift taking place every single day. It takes a like Jose opened up, man, just talking about being a husband, being a dad. You know, I heard Jose talking about the mindset shift with the cleaning lady that came by the home, and now she shifted to writing books and moving forward in her most illustrious direction. It all spawned from a mindset shift. And I think a lot of times what we're seeing, people are afraid to open their mouth. People are afraid to call a spade a spade. People are afraid to say the things that are necessary that need to be said, and they can be said in a professional manner. So, what do you gentlemen think about the shifts, the parallels of the shifts that we got to deal with every day?
Yeah, I mean, for me, if you guys don't mind, I'll jump in. It's taking stock of how you feel. And it's something that someone asked me that maybe a decade ago, and I didn't get it then, but I get it now. Of for me, my mindset shift and where like it's as you go through this and you start taking stock of what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad, who makes you feel good and bad. And I started taking stock of not being a people pleaser. I had that in my past that I was had trauma growing up in the house and then ADHD on top of it. It was something that I didn't even actively realize I was doing. But I was a very big people pleaser and I was living for that. And it took me having to realize that to unwind it to say, hey, I was allowing a lot of people access into my life and it was draining my energy or not propelling my energy the way it should. And I really started taking note of who made me feel good. Who are the friends that you talk to that you get like you're livened up, not the people who want to hang out with you and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. And like it was literally kind of following all those things of our body's telling us the truth. It's right there for us. And for me, it was, are we going to tune in and actually pay attention? And for me, I just let it go for the longest time. I was doing what I thought I should be doing or what I thought people would care about. And it's when you kind of take that mindset shift and really focus on what's important for me. And then how can I be the best of service for everyone outside of me? It takes on a whole new power and it really helped me propel to another level.
So you mentioned something about having ADDHD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that stands for?
Attention deficit hyper disorder.
I'm going to change that for you. It's attention it's not deficit. Attention, right? ADHD, right? Attention.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, right? The last word cannot be disorder. It's dedication, right? Because I've known so many people who have been diagnosed with it. Actually, I deal specifically with people who've been diagnosed with it. And what it is, people don't read them correctly. And it's because they're dedicated to something and it's not what you want them to be dedicated to. So I change it for them. And that's the last word I change. It's not a disorder. So
I love it.
I don't want anybody to say that I have a disorder. No, I'm very dedicated to something and I'm going to focus on it, right? So it's attention deficit. And it's not a deficit. It's because I'm not paying attention to what you want me to pay attention to. So I'm going to pay attention to what I'm dedicated to pay attention to. And when we can change the frame of that, we can actually help people. Because in martial arts, people send people to me all the time. Doctors recommend people to me. And I'm like, they don't have a disorder. They just have a focus. Their focus is not dedicated. So why don't we dedicate the focus to something that is interesting to them? Because none of us will be focused on anything that does not attract us. So let's first find what is attractive to somebody who has ADHD, and let's dedicate, the last word, dedicate, to something that does. And then there we can shine. And I'm sorry I had to jump in. And Lancelot came in. Look, mindset is the first offense to getting what you want. And Lancelot, that's who I told you, that's whose book I just held up also. It's important that we understand that the three of us need to get together, especially when Coach Theo comes to town, and
Amen.
Jose.
Yeah, you know what I have found based on what you guys are talking about now that we've gone into the ADHD realm of things, I can tell you very quickly, I have found that some of the most successful people out there have ADHD and other things, right? And to
Dedicated.
me, and somebody, Dylan Smith said this on one of his lives today, and he actually posted it in the CLA Facebook group, which was awesome. And I heard it from, prior to Dylan, I heard it from Brendan Bouchard. He said that ADHD is actually a superpower. You know, if it's honed in the right way and you leverage it and you put it in your favor, it can take you places most people can't even fathom. And it's just interesting, depending on whether you see it as a deficit or you see it as a positive, right? And remember, it doesn't matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides, right? And every coin has two sides, right? So it's really just a matter of perspective, because two people can see the same thing, see something completely different, as we know, right? So really, really powerful stuff. And I want to speak to a mindset shift that happened to me. I actually had a mentor, and I will always say this on every single call I'm on, because I've had so many mentors and I've learned so many things along the way. But I had a mentor who once said to me, because I was telling him, listen, I'm going to all these events, and I'm attending all these events. And I love it. In person, I'm meeting people, I'm building relationships, and it's fantastic. But I can't seem to move the needle in my life, right? This is before I had a business. I just wanted to make more money. I wanted to improve my finances. I wanted to get a raise in my career. I wanted to position myself to win, be a better, all kinds of things, right? But I wasn't moving the needle, but I was still going to all these events because I just love personal development. I'm a personal development junkie, to be real with everyone. So I said, you know what is it? And he said, Jose, if you're going to walk through a minefield, the best advice I could give you is to follow somebody. Because if you're the first one in, you got to make all the right moves. If you're number 10 in the back, you can observe what's going on in front of you, right? So he said, if you're gonna, in life, people say experience is the best teacher. That's only half of the statement. Experience is the best teacher only if it's somebody else's experience. Because now it's not going to cost you time, and it's not going to cost you money and energy. Time, money, and energy are things that nobody wants to waste. But too many of us are wasting those things in the wrong places, with the wrong people at the wrong time. So I say all that to say, going back to my point, is he said, so walk through a minefield. And he said, you know what I found, Jose, the people that are the most successful from these events is they actually take what they have learned from that event. They go and they digest their notes into actionable steps by way of the goals that they set. And they actually implement it every single day with consistency and a very special word that we all love. And that word is discipline. And discipline, for all of you who are watching, is my word of the year for 2026, discipline, right? Motivation, emotional. It can come and go. Discipline is structural. Discipline has systems behind it, right? It has a check benchmarks and metrics to it, right? So for me, and going back to the ADHD thing, the entrepreneurs who win in life and successful leaders in just their careers, you don't have to have a business, sometimes they're not the most talented. You know what they are? They're just the most consistent. And motivation, yeah, that gets you started, it gets you going, but discipline is what makes you unstoppable.
You just said discipline. I'm going to be disciplined and put this on. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out. on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
And just in case you're not part of the Connected Leaders Academy, David, meet my good friend Jose.
Hey,
Jose,
I plan on joining once we wrap up.
Unmute yourself. Jose, you got to unmute yourself, right? Unmute. It's going to take a second.
Good.
You're still muted. It's vibing. So here's the thing while he unmutes. Coach Theo Clay and I are both part of the Connected Leaders Academy, and Jose is the one that introduced me to Theo. And it was in, I believe, Philly. What wasn't it, Philly?
Yeah, Philly
Right,
at the Born to Risk with Emilio and Daniela.
Yeah, it was at the after party because I didn't go to the Born to Risk, not the first one. I went to the after party because who doesn't like a party? And so Jose said, listen, there's somebody I need you to meet. I said, let's go. So he goes, introduces me to Coach Theo. And I said something that to Coach Theo, he didn't know who I was necessarily. And he's ready to punch me in the face, right? Because I said something that was going to maybe disrespect somebody he loves, right? Somebody I love too. But I said it in a way that made him think who the heck is this seafood guy? And then I said, I turned it around. I said, I got to tell you, I hate this man because he's beautiful. He's this, he's that. And it wound up going, oh, okay, now I know where you're coming from. But it was the way that I said it that made him think. And then, he and I have connected at such a deep level that we even have our own show as well. It's called Unified Leadership. And I just got to tell you, Jose does know how to introduce people to the right people. So if you're not part of Connected Leaders Academy, David, let's go.
Well, I
will
muted.
be on there at the show. Sorry about that, Jose. Go ahead.
No, I was muted because whenever we play a video, for some reason it delays my muting for 10 seconds. It's weird, but I can't control that. So anyway, yes, no, listen, David McKee, and by the way, David, every single member in CLA from 1 to 596, we're 4 members away from 600 members in all 50 states, 37 countries, right? And I can tell you every single one has sat down with me one-on-one to vet them, to make sure they qualify, they fit our culture, and it's a win-win, right? Not one person signed up through a link or through some kind of a QR code at a big event or nothing like that, right? So I'm very particular about who's here. Now, David McKee, based on everything that has come out of your mouth, I can just tell you right now, I'm just going to send you a link. We don't even have to talk. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
But no, I'm excited. We'll definitely connect. But listen, I love connecting. I love the power of getting around the right people. And we don't always have to do business with each other, right? We can just be connected and be friends and serve each other from afar, and that's okay. But some people come into your world and you're like, you know what? You need to stay in this world and really closely, right? And that's what I love about what we do. And Sifu has his own phenomenal community, of which I'm a part of, Sifu's Mind Body Method. And T.O. has his own community. Everybody's doing their own things in their own way, but we all come together and we all support each other at a high level. And that's the power of duplication. That's the power of collaboration. That's the power of, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the collective good that we do together, because together we can do more.
I love that. That's awesome.
That's what it is, man. It's Lancelot was saying it. I've said it a few times, David. It's Avengers, man. You go to the headquarters of the Avengers, and man. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to address right there, was that question that Lancelot put in the chat: discipline or consistency. Man, bro, that's.
How about consistently disciplined?
Yeah,
you got to mix them both, no matter what you're
you
doing.
have to, man. They have to intermingle, because it's like we were talking about earlier on the unified leadership. If you are a disciplined leader, you have some form of motivation within you. It's just it's a natural thing. Not saying that you need one without the other or can't have one, but I see it the same way. my spirit keeps saying consistency, bro. Because you can be disciplined, but if you're not consistent, like Jose was saying, bro, you won't see the fruits of the labor. Because you can be nasty, as we say as Marines. You could be nasty for a day or two. You know, you can be disciplined Monday through Friday, and then Saturday get nasty and go to freaking Five Guys. Pick back up on Sunday, pick back up on Monday, do what you got to do, but you're still being consistent. So I don't know, fellas. What's your thoughts on that one?
When you just talked about Monday through Friday, maybe on the weekend, and that's the problem. People have a weekend instead of a strong end, like Jose and I know. You have to have a strong end. And one of the things that you made me think of when you said that is when I go to church on Sunday, not everybody in church is doing the right thing throughout the week. But they go to church as repentance, if you will, to try to say, please forgive me for all the mistakes I made this past week. I'm not going to do it again. And yet they do it again the following week. And then they're there on Sunday. Please forgive me. Instead of saying, I don't go to church to ask for forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness every day, every morning. I ask for forgiveness because I don't know who I offended. And I'm sure I offended a lot of people. But I personally, it's not in my heart to offend you. But if I did, please accept my apology. And I ask God for forgiveness in all that I do every day. Because if you ever see the word mistake, my picture's in the Bible. My picture is in the dictionary. My picture is in the grocery store. We want this guy for all the mistakes he made. They're looking for me, right? Because I made.
You're in two places because I went to dictionary. I'm sorry, I went in a dictionary and I looked up sexy and I saw your face there, so I'm confused.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
Keep going.
Let's go.
Multiple places. But even if you go to the post office, there I am, guy who makes all the mistakes, right? But I don't want to make the same mistake twice. So this is why I'm getting better every single day, because I'm learning from my mistakes. And I don't go to church every Sunday to pray for forgiveness. I go to church so I can grow, so I can become a better human being. And when you said that, Tio, that made me think of the hypocrites that live amongst us, right? And I'm not calling anybody out. You know who you are if you are. But every day we need to get better. We need to get better at relationships, the way we treat our children, our spouse, our employees, our employer. If you work for somebody, dude, young lady, be the best you could be at whatever it is. If you're sweeping the floors, you should be whistling. If you're cleaning cars, if you're a mechanic, you should be whistling. You should be happy you're alive and you get a chance to do all these beautiful things. So when we think about the changes, the shift, and I love what the preacher talked about shift, right? And it's the F that changes that word, right? Because if you take the word out, then you're in the crapper, basically. And it's the F, and I say it's fabulous, right? It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. So think about the shift in your life that you need to make to live your best life. And every day, if you're not on top of it, it's going to become, the F is going to slowly disappear.
Yeah. I love what you say about leaning into mistakes. Man, it's changed my life. I was living, I thought I had to be perfect, and I'm one of those people. I beat myself up if I make any mistake. No one can ever get harder on me than I'm going to be harder on myself. So it was just falling into that, and this. I feel like a lot of society with social media now, it's all chasing perfection of everything. Like people have the perfect life, the perfect family, everything is all happy and everything's great. And there are a lot of people who are sad or down, going through stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to normalize more mistakes. We all do. We're human. It's part of the process. And if you're not owning up that you do make mistakes, you're selling yourself short, because that's where literally a lot of the magic happens. Of we've got to break some eggs before you can make something really good. And man, I was like, when I started leaning into my mistakes and being okay with it, of all right, that's human. Let's move forward. And it's just it takes on a whole other level of that push that you always have to be perfect. It's unsustainable. It's unrealistic. So if we can be like, okay, we're good with making mistakes. I tell anybody that I train on my end, I run an accounting consulting firm on the side. I let them know mistakes I'll never get mad at. If you hide them, that's when I'll get mad at you. And it's just a very simple thing, but I'm like, lean into it. It's okay. We're going to make mistakes, but raise your hand, ask the question, figure it out. So you, like you said, Sifu, like you don't want to make that second mistake. That's when you really feel bad about yourself. So if you can fix and correct the issue, and a lot of that ties back into the discipline thing of, if we can be locked in, we know what's right. A lot of the times we know exactly what's right for us, and we know we shouldn't do certain things, but we do them anyway. It's how can we take stock of that and know, okay, actively, how are we making the right choices more often every single day?
I tell my clients, I said, do me a favor, if you ever catch me doing a mistake, don't hold up. Tell me. Tell me. And if you don't tell me, and I made a mistake and you didn't see it, you're blind. You're blind. So please. And so people like, they're always looking to see where I make a mistake. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that, because it shows that they're paying attention, right? So many mistakes.
I was going to say, we're all perfectly imperfect, right? As in our own way, and we make mistakes, and the key is extreme ownership, right? Like nobody is mistake free. The issue is when you don't take ownership, right? If you're the person who will shift it off to somebody else, oh, this happened because of that person or because of this circumstance or whatever. At the end of the day, it's your fault, right? Jocko Willink, great book, Extreme Ownership. So it really comes down to those things. But I was going to say what you said earlier, Sifu, and about church, and the way I see it, I go to church because it's an inside job, right? I go to church for me and the Lord. That's why I go to church. I don't go to church to determine. I could have swore I saw you doing this the other day, or I could have swore, like, somebody told me you were just at this place the other night doing this, and like I don't go worrying about everybody else. I go for me and my relationship and why I'm there, because it's an inside job and it's the works that I'm doing, right? That's that example. But then you have the example of the gym, right? I can apply the same example to the gym. I don't go to the gym worrying about anybody else, because if that was the case, I wouldn't be going to the gym, because I would be like, why am I coming to this place full of people that are out of shape? Like, that's so hypocritical. They come and they work out, and then they go and they eat potato chips and go eat pizza and smoke a cigarette and and drink 30 beers, right? Then they come back to the gym the next day. So I could use that example, and I'd be like, this is not the place to be, right? So I think it really just comes down to doing the things that we know we need to do that make sense for us, and wherever we can add value to somebody and inspire somebody and support somebody, we'll do that. But at the end of the day, it's so easy to fall into the trap of like, look at that person, and I'm not saying that you're saying that, Steve, but I'm just saying that's what people do naturally, right? We naturally tap into judging people and pointing fingers, and at the end of the day, I think there's enough things in our own world that we should be pointing at for ourselves on how we can be better.
I go to church like a horse, man. Blinders on. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm there for my mission. My mission is to connect with God. And the reason I was even telling Tio, what are the two things, Tio? You remember I said it this morning on our show. There's two things I bring to church. One is my Holy Bible, and the other one is my Remarkable Truth, so I can take notes, right? I am so focused on God when I'm in church. That's it. That is my everything, right? I don't go to church for anyone else. I don't even go to church for the pastor or the priest or the cardinal or whoever. I have, when I was a kid, I used to eat dinner with priests every night, every single night, because my sister taught them, right? My sister taught them, and my brother-in-law taught them. They taught at the seminary. So they took me along, and I would eat dinner with them, play darts with them, play pool with them. So yes, I sat with these men, and it was very interesting. but they're human beings too. So I don't go to church to focus on them, because they're not the reason I go. The word is the reason I go. That's why I go. Let me share one more thing before we finish this episode. Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
And like Jose said, we all have our own communities, right? That's a community that Jose belongs to. Coach Teo is part of it. Lancelot is part of it. And when we think about community, it really defines who we want in our circle, right? Because I don't want people who don't believe in the similar things that I believe. Don't get me wrong. I love a challenge, and every day if I'm not challenged, I'm not living. So every day I want a challenge, but I want people on the same path, if you will, is what I mean. Thoughts?
Love it. I'm going to give my final thought. I have to run in 1 minute, literally, if that's okay. I'll be very quick. I say very quick. I'll be very quick. Okay, I promise I'll be super quick. And that is very simple. Since we're talking about mindset shifts, right? That changes everything. I can just tell you, I had another mentor of mine who told me one time when I was struggling. He said, "Jose, I wish I had better news for you, but you are right now where you are in your life because you choose to be there." And I said, "Oof, what? Talk about a bitter pill to swallow." Right. Mm-hmm. And because I'm like, oh no, you don't understand so and so. I'm not gonna name the name, but you don't understand. This person did this, and if this didn't happen, this would have happened. And I started giving like a chain of like 30 excuses. And he said, no. You have the power and the ability to change your entire trajectory of your life right now. And everything you do, positive and negative, compounds over time. So you decide which path you'll go. Like the Matrix, there's a blue pill and the red pill. Fork in a road right now. You decide what you want to do. Was some of the best advice I ever heard, and that was a mindset shift that changed everything. But anyway, it was a pleasure. I love being here. I know you guys are going to go around and do your thing, but David, pleasure to meet you. Coach Teo.
You too.
Love for you and Sifu. Brothers as well. So I look forward to all great things, and I'll watch the end of this that I missed in a few minutes once I get off my next call.
You got it.
Take care, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I agree so much, and to kind of tie back to like what we were talking about right before the video a bit is when people finger point. It's something that I've gotten really into, and I let people know. I'm like, you know what? People are always going to think whatever they're going to think. We have no control over that. It's something that I got into, especially with, helping anybody, especially if there's any interpersonal problems. I call it scorekeeping. The problem with scorekeeping is no matter what, is you always think you're the most wronged. And the other person's going to think they're more wrong than you. And it's like, and it's just a vicious cycle of, I let people know it's a really quick way to end a relationship or end anything that you're looking for. It's look for how can you make something constructive instead of kind of pointing out exactly what they're always doing wrong of how could they maybe do something right? How could you fix it? And that's one of those things of when you start figuring in those little nooks and crannies of where you can shift your mindset, that's where a lot of the magic starts happening.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love the magic also, right? The magic of it. And in reality, it's not magic. It's all the actions that you take to create the magic, right?
Yeah.
Even a magician is just a sleight of hand, right? They had to work to be proficient at it. So have you ever seen a bad magician? I have. Have you ever seen an incredible magician? I have too. And the incredible ones are the ones that continue to work hard on their craft day in, day out. Even when they're already in Las Vegas Strip, when they have their own show, they don't just take it for granted. They're continually working on their craft because the shift has already happened in their mind that they have to continue to get better at that particular trick. They've done it 1,000 times. And if they don't practice, it's going to go bad in front of a lot of people and they're going to lose their foothold, if you will. So, and also they want to entertain. So they're going to have to look for different tricks, different ideas, concepts. Just like Coach Teo does, just like you do, David, just like I do, like Jose and everybody else who's been on this call with you guys today. And I'm just here. Coach Teo, he's the boss today because he stepped in for me, right, while I was out visiting my doctor, right? So thank you, Coach Teo.
Yes, and I truly appreciate it too. I mean, just sitting that hour with Scott Schilling, it was amazing, bro. And it's a skill set, man. And I love these opportunities to hear David. You know, I don't have any paper, but I've been writing on a napkin the whole time.
Hey, my man.
Yeah, I got great notes, man. And the
Thank
the
you.
the mindset shift for me has been implement, bro. Just period. Just implement. And I don't have to implement it all at once. But it's like Jose said, man, I could implement one or two of these things, bro. I'm going to develop. I'm gonna get better. So I think about one of my favorite ball players of all time is his former name was Chris Jackson, played for LSU. Then he converted to Islam and he changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf or Rauf, as some would pronounce it. And man, to see a man with Tourette syndrome, like the tics, like it, he would literally practice shooting and practice his craft you to a point to where uh the police would literally have to come and get him off the court when he was a young man because he would be out there crying and his Tourette's wouldn't allow him to stop until he hit like 30 shots in a row. And people would literally be like, hey man, that's enough, man. You got to go to school in the morning. But his Tourette's, he literally mentally was in a prison of his own. But once he started learning how to manage it, once he got some help, you all,
Right.
people started helping him and man became one of the best ball players to ever live. And now to see him, he has his Tourette's under control. He speaks very dang on clear and doesn't, take as much as he used to. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, man, special individual. And that's what made me think about, just in closing, man, the mindset shift, man. He in his mind wanted to improve. And him and you, David, talk about the ADHD and having a different element of thought from that, from you, Sifu, is special. So thank you, Sifu. Thank you, man, for allowing me to sharpen my blade today. All day since the beginning of the morning till now, I've been able to sharpen the blade with some of the greatest leaders. So I appreciate you all, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah.
David, before we wrap it up, right? What I like to
Sure.
do on this show is give everybody a chance to talk about their website or the way they can connect with you. So I'm going to put your information across the screen and go ahead and let everybody what they can expect when they connect with you. Because my goal is to get people to connect with you so that you
got
can
it.
keep doing what you do, right?
Yeah. So yeah, my Instagram handles are down there in the script. If you take a look, please feel free to reach out. So I am a consultant and I run a consulting business called Another Angle Consulting because of a lot of the difficulties and stuff that I went through growing up. I learned that life will happen for you, not to you. And when you know that life's happening for you and you look at things from a different angle, you can take exactly what happened that was wrong to you and make something good out of it. I'm in a lot of spaces. I mentioned before I do some accounting and finance consulting. I do CFO coaching as well. So I'm CEO, CFO coaching, and I also run a music label. I released my first song 2 weeks ago, and I'm literally trying to be there for everybody. I wrote this album that will be coming out over the next year. That it's my gift to my future child, of to know that at 41, something that I dreamed of when I was a teenager, I'm able to do now. And it doesn't matter how old you are, what you're doing, you can always get back on the horse and figure something out.
Absolutely. And if you want to meet him in person, come join us May 15th through the 17th, because we're going to have David there for sure.
Absolutely.
Coach Theo, you're up, my friend.
Yeah, just straight down the pipe, man. And thank you, David. I appreciate you, man, because what it sounds to me is, hey, you're tapping into your inner light. You know, what is light? It's love, it's intellect, it's greatness, it's help, and it is truth. We all have it, man. And you're tapping into it. Like you said, man, you're creating music, bro. Like Jose said it, I wrote it down. You know, let's stop being consumers and let's keep creating. Create, create, create. That's what the creator does. We don't call him the creator for no reason. He created us. We're the Imago Dei. We're in the image of that. So keep creating. It makes me happy because, man, I want to hear it, bro. I want to call you and say, hey, it's dope. I love it. Yo, somebody else listen to it, you know. So hopefully you'll come by, man, and be with us in May. It's going to be great, man. Great leadership in the room, all pouring into one another, man, for the betterment of being better leaders. That's what's needed out here, man. And this hour proves that. You know, I streamed it to my little Facebook, my little YouTube. Someone's going to see it, one person, and they're going to remember something that was said from one of us. And, man, they're going to be better for it. And we're putting our time, our effort towards that because we want to impact on a real level. So www.lightbulblessons.com. You go there. That's the hub. All things T.O. Clay in terms of leadership is there, bro. You'll see the love. You'll feel the intellectual aspect of it. You'll see the greatness on full display like you've seen for this last hour. Mental health, man, we're talking about it. David man, go back and listen to this. Take it all the way back to the beginning and listen to the things David really said. Sometimes it doesn't require all 4 or 5 of us to speak on it. David put it in a nutshell. And if you go back and listen to the things that he talked about, neurologically, it's real, like straight up and down. So, and the last is truth. You know, we're in our truth right now. David, you say you're what, 40, 42, something, and you're still making music. My mindset shift, man, is so many of them as we all share. But one that Dr. Oliver T. Reed said to me, shout out to Dr. Reed. I called him so upset, frustrated. Man, this business crap is junk. You know, all of these people out here trying to be coaches, they ain't no real coach, man. They just grifting people, blah, blah, blah. I'm going off. He's like, T.O., you're not late. You can't become what you already are. So I'll let that just resonate because that will mean something different to everybody that just heard it. For me, I know what it meant for me. I'm not late, bro. I could come back to the drawing board, get my mental faculties about myself, get my focus laser and locked in, and keep moving and giving the gift that God gave me to give. So thank you again, Sifu, for the 5th time. Sifu means master. Go watch IP Man out there, you all, and you will see the understanding of it. That's the best part. I love y'all, man. Thank you.
Love it, love it. And if you want to connect with me, it's pretty simple. I don't hide. Like Scott says, I don't hide. Well, my name, sifurafael.com. And it's pretty easy. And when you go there, you can see the many different events that we're putting together, all the different shows that I have. I do happen to have 10 shows. And I'm just calling myself the architect and founder of getting you for your health and your speaking abilities. I coach people on speaking. I coach people in a lot of different things. But the most important thing that I can help you with is to find yourself, because you're beautiful. Don't forget who you are, right? So thank you guys for being here with us. Do me a favor, hang out for a minute when we say goodbye to everybody. Everybody, like Tio said, somebody needs to listen to the messages that were delivered today, because it will impact them differently than it'll impact you. So who in your life do you know that you need to share this show with? Go ahead and share it. God bless everybody.